Welcome to another episode of the Time Management Revolution podcast. I'm Helene Segura, and today we have with us again Stephen Puri, who is the founder and CEO of the Sukha company with the mission to help people find their focus, achieve more, and have a healthy work life. Stephen's career and life experiences influenced how he designed the Sukha. His career path has taken him from a newscaster to a software engineer to Hollywood film production and present day building tech companies. Stephen, welcome back.
Oh boy, it's good to be back. I hope this one is even better than the last.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. And let's start off with a catch up of what you've done because I haven't seen you for 6 months and you have something going on. I know something going on that's going to happen in the next 5 weeks or so. Would you like to share with folks what's happening?
I wonder what that could be. Oh, I'm having a son. Yes. For those who are new to this, I have been talking to Helene because I'm very excited. 5 weeks actually from the day that we're recording this, I am supposed to have a son. We're going to induce. Our OBGYN was like, let's set a date. I'll be there. It'll work out great. We can plan it. So this is child number one. We had these embryos. We did IVF in 2018. And then the pandemic happened and we didn't really want to have a child in the middle of the pandemic. So we waited until that was all over. And now we're having our son. I could say son because we picked out one of the 9 embryos. We're like, we'll take number 4. It's a boy.
Wow.
Super excited.
Oh, that's great. And I guess life will be changing for you time management wise.
Okay. I know that's a good one. That's a good one. So yes, all of those playing along at home or in their car that have children are nodding and they know the road ahead of me better than I do. But I've had so many friends with kids weigh in because obviously I talk to a lot of people, a lot of audiences about flow states and how to manage your mental energy and stuff like that. And friends have just told me, hey, listen, time is going to be even more precious, even more premium. Your distractions are going to multiply, manyfold. And whatever practices you have, like stick to them and hone them because you are going to need it. And there are examples in my community of people who I've seen that do this, and we can talk about them. But it is absolutely part of the excitement. Is great. We're gonna have a little son. Super excited. And how do I set a good example of like totally there as a dad, but also getting stuff done?
Right, exactly. Oh, well, one of the reasons why we decided to chat again, besides the fact that we have fun conversations, is because you have a lot of people in the Sukha community, various people with challenges that we all have, and community members have found solutions. They have found a way to work through things. So we'll be talking about some of those folks today as examples. And I thought I'd kick it off with focus because that's part of the reason why you developed the Sukha. So a question that I'm frequently asked is, how can I find focus time when so many people depend on me to help them? So have you encountered folks in your community or in your past careers where they have had those same challenges, and how did they solve them?
Yes, that is so common. Problems that I would love for us to cover today in our short time together are really around procrastination, about motivation, distraction, and how do you then make this room that you're talking about to say, okay, I need to dedicate this time. So throughout my film career, I've worked with people who create, whether it is writers literally writing, or whether it is costumers, production designers, doing sketches and, so many people who have to create something that's knowledge work, right? It's not bricklaying, which is a very different kind of activity. So that said, you fundamentally have to acknowledge this, that to do great work, it doesn't happen in 9-minute little blocks between Zoom calls. Maybe you can return an email or two or a Slack message, but in those 9 minutes here and then 17 minutes after this one, you're going to do what Cal Newport would say is shallow work. So for you to do the thing that turns people's heads, when you walk in the production meeting, you go, I have the designs for the alien creature. When you turn to Brad Pitt, you go, we did the rewrites. Your character now is a Southern gentleman or something like that. And it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. To do that, you need to acknowledge the fact, not negotiable, there's no discussion here, that you need to have a block of time to do that. So if you are an individual contributor, it means, how do you find that in a day when maybe other people control your time? Oh, we have a staff meeting here, we have a customer meeting there, we're going to do a group trust fall afternoon, whatever, right? And if you're a leader and you want your ICs to be able to do great things, how do you then set that up? So there is a simple concept around time blocking, which is to say, hey, for me or for my team to do great work, we need to set aside time where we agree we're not setting meetings in that time. We're not slacking each other. Hey, Helen, can you send me the TPS reports? I can't find the link to them. There's none of that. There is go do something great, whatever that is for you, whether you're a CPA and you're going over the books to make sure there are no mistakes in our tax return, or whether you are doing, the rewrite for Tom Cruise, right? So that means you as a leader in IC need to say, you know what is our chronotype? Like, where in the day part are we most adept to do the thing that we need to do in this organization? So if it is a film that you're prepping, like, when is the creative time? When designers actually can design, writers can write. And how does it work? Maybe that's early in the morning. I think we talked about Ron Bass, who's a screenwriter who notoriously doesn't even talk to his family in the morning because he can't hear his character dialogue, right? So find that day part and then block that. Say, this hour or two, we're going to dedicate to this. So if this is not a practice that you're doing, those who are listening here, consider what part of the day is the time you do that thing well, where your team does that thing well, and then do an experiment. Say, hey, you know what, for this week, why don't we just from 9 to 10 in the morning, like, not slack each other? Let's treat it as sacred time. And let's see when we go into the staff meeting if more interesting things come up, because no team wins because they returned all their emails or they got all their Slack messages done. Like, that is not the gold star that turns in $1 billion company. It is someone walks in with a feature going, I was thinking yesterday, what if we built this? And everyone's like, oh my God, we should do what Stephen just said right now. That's really ultimately what you want. So it really does come down to time blocking. If you're a leader, set that. If you're an IC, request it and keep it sacred.
That sounds like a beautiful plan. And it would be
It
great
works.
if more, if more
There's
companies
the added
would do
benefit
that.
of working.
Yeah, exactly. Can you explain how, when you're in the flow state, you can get more focused, and because of that, you don't have those random thoughts popping into your head, because that's part of the interruptions in our day. It's not necessarily other people, it's random thoughts.
That is absolutely right. So just to remind everyone, because I know everyone here is a flow master, but just to remind everyone, the Hungarian American psychologist who documented this flow state, where he's like, high performers seem to get in these concentrated states where they do great work, they do it in a shorter period of time, and they leave feeling energized and in control of their day, not depleted. He named this thing flow state. I think I related to, I first experienced my flow state before I knew the concept of the word, which was just, I was on a flight with no Wi-Fi. So there were no distractions. There was no check my WhatsApp. There was no look at TikTok or YouTube or email. And I had to do some designs, and they turned out really, really well. And I was done by the end of the flight, which was awesome, right? So that said, if you think about, okay, how do I use this magical sort of technique to do the thing I need to do? Well, there are some conditions precedent you can set, right? So number one, everyone that Mihai, the psychologist, found could use flow states reliably, they believed that what they were doing was meaningful. So it's not an expectation to say, I'm going to go mop the floors in a flow state. I'm going to go staple these reports in a flow state. You know what I mean? It is, I'm going to write that blog post. I'm going to do that design. I'm going to write that code. I'm going to do some sort of knowledge work in a way. And I believe that what I do has meaning, right? And there are some things like music that have been proven to help people fall into that state more quickly and stay there. Generally, it takes 15 to 23 minutes to drop in. And if you get interrupted, hey, Stephen, where's that TPS report? It takes you another 15 to 23 to get back into that state where the world falls away. And so there are a lot of options. Like, the Flow app that we made, Sukha has like 1,000 hours of original music, all to like scientific best practices. But Brain FM and Endel, and even on YouTube, you can find some great, Spotify, you can find some great flow music, right? In addition, blocking distractions is a really big one. And we live in a world where the best paychecks, if you're a UI UX designer or engineer, are at a company whose entire business model is stealing your attention, right? So whether you're working for Mark or Evan or Elon or whomever, like, your salary goes up the more you steal everyone's lives, right? So if you want to guard yourself against that, you need to find some tools. There are fantastic tools that help you block websites, like Freedom is a good one. We came up with a really easy thing: is you install a Chrome extension, say what websites distract you. And if you open one up, the smart assistant in your computer says, hey, Helene, like, do you need to be in YouTube right now? Do you really need to be on Amazon? Because it looks like you're working. And then you just have that choice of saying, who do I want to be? Do I want to be the guy that or girl that at 3 o'clock is done, or the one at 6 o'clock is frustrated and grumpy? You know what I mean? Same thing with the phone. Like, phone is really my bad one. When I find that I'm frustrated, like, I have a build that won't compile, I have a blog post and I keep rereading it, I'm like, it's not really good. Like, it's, right? My hand will reach my phone. Instant dopamine. Oh, let me just see who reached out to me. Oh, that's fun. Laura's at the airport. Oh, good. And that was something I needed to handle. So with, Sukha, my website, which I hit play on every time I start work, and it just plays music and blocks things. I get a little QR code. I can tap with my phone, put my phone down. And then if I pick it up, my smart assistant says, hey, Stephen, I see you're on your phone. Is that helping you? And again, you just get that 1 second of choice of, who do I want to be? And some of these techniques you can do on if you're incredibly disciplined, put your phone in the other room. There are lots of ways. People have lock boxes that they sell to put your phone in for, like, period of time. There's a timer. You can't open it for an hour or two. Whatever works, man. Just if you want to release the great thing that you have inside, you need to allow that to happen. You can't be lazy about it or undisciplined.
Now, diving in on the music part of this, because I used the Sukha last week on a project I was procrastinating on. And I knew, I kept putting it off, and it was the ugly head of perfectionism that was coming in, because I was worried about, is it going to be perfect? Is this going to be perfect? Is that going to be perfect? And I kept dragging my feet. So when I turned on the Sukha, the music was ethereal. And because I knew the music was on, that told me it was work time, and I put my head down and got everything done. Now, but it's a music part. So how do you choose the music?
Okay, this is such a great question. So there is research on, like, what's the sweet spot for most people, right? It is 60 to 90 beats per minute, certain key signatures, ambient non-vocal. You're not singing along with Britney Spears or Blackpink or whatever. Right? So that works for a lot of people. We all have the friend that's the outlier that's like, oh man, I just listen to show tunes or Tchaikovsky or 90s gangster rap or whatever is their jam, right? So when we were designing this, of course, read the research by the smart people. Let's take advantage of this. I have, because of my film career, happily, a bunch of friends who are film composers with time on their hands. Hey, Blake. Hey, John, can you write me, I don't know, a couple 100 hours of music? It's sort of like this, it's deliberately repetitive. You're not trying to make a pop song with hooks. So it's really easy to come up with like 10, 20-minute tracks that lull you in. You just stop thinking about everything. And I'm so flattered that you were in Sukha last week. You should have dropped in the group chat and said, what's up, Fury? How you doing? So that said, here are some learnings that I had, right? That was all me studying, going, okay, in designing this, let's build it on science. And then there was stuff where it was like, oh, for example, Julian, a buddy who's a sound engineer for LucasArts, like the Star Wars games, right up in Marin. Hey, Stephen, I just got back from Nepal. My son's graduation present. He wanted to go to Nepal. So we did. And one day while I was there in Kathmandu, it poured, like downpoured. And it was this lush, beautiful, warm rain. And I recorded it because I had my recording stuff there. You want it? And I was like, sure, for free. Why not? Yeah. So we created a playlist. It was our first non-musical playlist called Himalayan Dream Rain. I don't
Oh,
know.
wow.
Maybe no one listens. We take it down. It's
Uh-huh.
become our third most popular playlist.
Hmm.
So, I run the platform. I can see who's listening to it. I dropped a little note, little DMs going, hey, I'd love to understand what this does for you. And it was interesting that it evoked the people who listened to it all said something similar to this. It evokes in me a period of time in my life when I was in a place that rained. Oh, when I used to study, I grew up in Georgia and we had these, oh, my grandmother's house by the lake, that sort of thing. So then we experimented. We threw up a bunch of what we called naturescapes, right? A bubbling little brook in Japan,
Hmm.
a lake in Canada that has these, I guess, very specific indigenous birds, and you hear the water lapping on the side of the lake, surf in Cyprus, all these sort of things. Relatively popular, not as popular as rain, but people found them and listened, which is kind of cool. And then the other big surprise was it was not just binaural, like binaural beats, when you have one ear that's slightly different from the other. A lot of people in
Mhm.
SF use that. So we threw up some binaural and some lo-fi playlists. And we have things like that. So you can kind of choose your own adventure within those boundaries. But the other one was someone said, I miss going to coffee shops. Before the pandemic, I was single. I could go work there. It was kind of cool being around people and that feeling. Now I've got a kid and I'm home. And I miss the energy that it evoked in me, this feeling like we're all here doing something, right? Everyone's on their little
Mhm.
laptops around the Starbucks, the coffee bean, whatever. And so we threw up a recording that someone made of a coffee shop in Vienna, Austria.
Huh.
And I'm telling you, all it is it's an hour or two of here, the baristas doing their little, making whatever. I don't even drink coffee, but their lattes or something. And,
Mhm.
you hear the plates clattering and people kind of like moving around every now and then. But
Mhm.
that's also become relatively popular. And I was like, okay, you know what? There is research, but then there's also knowing it works for you. And
Mhm.
that's how we've evolved to say, like, hey, man, if you're an outlier here, if you want a coffee shop, you want to stream in Japan, you don't have to listen to lo-fi beats. You don't have to listen to, the upbeat thing or the down tempo. We got you.
Mhm. Nice. Nice. Earlier you mentioned procrastination. So
Let's
along
not
the
deal with that
way,
today. Let's deal with that tomorrow.
yeah, let's put it off.
Right.
Yeah, so along the way, whether it's through the Sukha
Yeah.
or different people you've met in your career, have you met others who had to deal with procrastination in order to get the job done? And what were some of their solutions?
Have you met people with legs? I have. Actually, I
Yeah.
have. Yes. And again, me just being, let me speak about myself rather than anyone else. But
Okay.
I know in my own exploration, which has now been echoed by a lot of members of, our Sukha app that,
Mhm.
talk to me and are very nice, is a lot of my procrastination came from overwhelm.
Mhm.
And when I found that the procrastination in the morning was usually there were just too many things on my task list where I'm like, I don't know where to start. Or it was the paralysis of like, there's something on there. It's just like too big. I can't make a dent in, write my book or something. Right. And,
Mhm.
the way we solve that is when you start your session, we hide everything but the top three. So you don't have to continually stare at like the 17 things you have to do. You just say
Mhm.
the three priorities, the thing that moved my life forward are these three. And then as you work, you can see them. And the top task, the one you're working on, you have a little progress
Mhm.
bar. It just goes across. You can see like, oh, I budgeted an hour for it. I should be about halfway through. And when you get towards the end, the little bar goes from green to yellow and then it goes to red. I have one
Mhm.
red one in my task list right now. I'll be honest, it's bugging me because I'm like, how did I misjudge the amount of time that would take?
Oh, okay.
It's usually
Uh-huh.
pretty good. But yeah, so I find with the procrastination thing, it was usually that for me. And I've heard that echoed from a number of people. And then another one I hear that is not so much my thing, but sometimes the procrastination is I don't know how to do that, or there's some impediment that I don't know how to overcome.
Mhm.
And I've actually become really reliant on just asking the internet. When I have that thing, I'm like, Oh man, I don't know. I had to register my car in Texas yesterday, and
Oh
I
goodness.
was putting it off. Let's be honest, I put it off for several days. And
Hmm.
yesterday I was like, no, I just have to do this because I wasn't really sure what you needed from the DMV and what inspections and that. I just went into Chat GPT. I was like, can you walk me through like which websites will spell out exactly what I need? They did. I registered this morning. It's done. I've become
Hmm.
very reliant on like, hey, Chat GPT, hey, Gemini, like point me to the exact website that says, this is how you cook,
Yeah.
carrots. Great. I'll cook some carrots now.
Oh, nice. Well, something that you mentioned about procrastinating, one of the reasons why
Hmm?
was having this rather large project, like write a book.
Yeah. Yep.
So I have many clients who procrastinate because of that. Not the writing the book, but the fact that it's a big project.
Right.
So we just talk about how with any task, it's important to break it down into those smaller steps so it's not quite as overwhelming, and then those steps are what can go in your task list because it's not like for most people, they can't finish a huge project all in one sitting.
Helene, it is wonderful talking to a pro about this because, I speak to a lot of different audiences, right? And
Mhm.
yes, you totally get it. That is the simple thing. And it's one of the things that we're refining. We had a version of that working. I didn't think it was contextual enough where your
Mhm.
smart assistant would look at your top 3 tasks. And if there's something on there that's ridiculous, like write your book, launch your website, it would step in and say, hey, that feels like a goal, maybe not a task. Can I help you break that into
Oh.
the little pieces? Like, let's make some 30-minute pieces out of that 10-hour thing, right? And
Mhm.
it wasn't finessed enough. And it's one of the things that Tony and I are working on right now in the background because I'd like to
Okay.
relaunch that a little better than it was.
Oh, nice. That
Yeah.
would be great because so many people need that
Coming.
kind of assistance. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
on one of the burners, slowly getting ready to boil.
Okay, nice. Oh, definitely let me know when that is boiling.
I'm just
Oh,
saying.
yeah. What about ADHD? It's not like people will jump into your
Mhm.
community and say, "Hey, everybody, I'm ADHD. I have ADHD," or what have you. But do you know of any folks within the community who have shared with you that they have a challenge with ADHD, and in what way first of all, how are they able to focus?
Mhm.
Because most folks who have challenges with ADHD struggle with focus.
Well, let's just set the table, which is ADHD stands for attention deficit. Hey, what are you eating? Right. um, so you have a friend who is medically diagnosed with ADHD who happens to be on this podcast with you.
Hmm.
And it was spotted by another member who is an ADHD coach, whom I got to know over the past like 2, 3 years, see her
Uh-huh.
in there working. And we were DMing one day, and she's like, have you ever been tested, like medically tested? Not like, I think I have ADHD, because everyone says that. And I was like, I
Hmm.
haven't. She's like, choose your own adventure, but I think you should go. I think you're probably, you know, somewhere there. And she was
Hmm.
right. So it is probably not a coincidence that I created something to help me focus.
Hmm.
Because I definitely, the hardest thing for me is not the hyperactivity thing. It's sort of the inattentive. It's the shiny object, you know?
Hmm.
Like part of that, here are 3 things that I'm going to do. And any more than that is unrealistic. I'm kidding myself. I
Hmm.
had to learn that myself because I would definitely go, oh, number 7 on there. Well, I could knock out a part of that, start that blog post, and then I'll come back to finishing paying the bills for the company. And then, oh, number 3 on there is that little tweak I wanted to make in the website. So I'll hop in a windsurf and like update, you know what I mean? That thing.
Hmm.
And I learned later, again, from the smart people, there is no such thing as multitasking.
Right.
There's
Hmm.
monotasking with context switching. So you're doing the monotasking you normally do, but you're burning more energy, sort of saving the context. I'm going to stop working on this, save what I was doing in my brain,
Hmm.
go work on something else, load where I was with that, and then stop
Hmm.
that, save that, reload where I was with this, and you burn more energy doing that. I didn't know that. I thought I was like super powered because I could like jump around. Not so fast, Mr. Puri.
Hmm.
So anyway, yes, there are a number of people, and it's actually interesting to me that now it's less stigmatized. There are people in the group
Mm-hmm.
chat where it's like, hey, I heard about this from this ADHD coach, who's here today? And, how does this work? And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool when you just talk about it. Like, I'm comfortable talking about it. And should my son or daughter be like, have some sort of neurodivergence, I
Mm-hmm.
would love for them to be like, hey, you know what? I have brown hair. I didn't choose it. I have this sort of neurodivergence. It's how it is. Like, cool. How about you?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I am plagued.
Right. Now, I have a question for
Ooh,
you
you have lots of
personally.
questions.
Yes, you don't have to answer it. You can just start telling another story and take us down another path. But
No, with that challenge, I'm going to answer it.
okay. Now, there are some who are clinically diagnosed with ADHD who have a very tough time with the concept of the future self. And you have mentioned the future self already. For a lot of folks with ADHD, it's now and not now.
That is
It's
spot on how
there's
I am.
time
Spot on.
blindness. Can you share a little more about what that's like and what you've done in order to either get around it or bulldoze through it?
I am so reliant on the alarms in my calendar.
Mm.
That whole thing, would you just to hang a lantern on what you said, which when someone first told me that, I was like floored. I'm like, that's exactly how my life is. There's now and not now. And
Mm-hmm.
that sense of like understanding how times are accordions and when you have to prepare for things. I was late to things, events like meetings, things like that. There were a lot of things where I just didn't handle time well. And the crutch that I rely upon is every night before I go to sleep. Here's an insight into my sexy life. I take out my calendar, my phone, and I have on one side of my little phone the calendar, the other side my alarms. And I set alarms to make sure that I am in advance of everything I need to do, starting to prepare for it. So I think when we were recording today, had a pre-programmed 10-minute reminder. Be like, Steven, in 10 minutes we're talking, don't miss this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which warmed the cockles of my cold little heart, can I tell you? Because I had one set for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and 2 minutes, just to
Nice.
make sure that like 10 minutes, I was upstairs, in the office because I knew I had to go downstairs. FedEx was here and UPS came, stuff like that. I didn't want to be like down
Mm-hmm.
talking to someone in 10 minutes. 5 minutes, okay, let me get the light on, let me get the camera set up. And 2 minutes
Mm-hmm.
going, let me log in and be ready for you. And of course, you were there already when I got there because you're just good at this. So yeah, that is the crutch that I use. Is I set my alarms the entire day to ease me into things so I can deal with the fact there's now and not now.
Mm-hmm. Question about the alarms.
Yep.
Do you use them in public settings? So it
Oh yeah.
might go off. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious about
period. Runs my life.
that. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't, not in yoga, because obviously I don't have my phone with me in yoga.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
the rest of my day, that alarm goes off and I'm like, oh, right. I need to get ready to go to the thing. Oh, I need to be in the car now. Absolutely. Just not in yoga.
Yeah. On my phone, I had programmed in that the phone would speak what the alarm is. So that way, if I couldn't hear it, if I wasn't in the same room, then it would say laundry or sip on protein, my little protein drink.
Oh
But
my God. Are we the same person? I do exactly that. It's time
but
for
I have
lunch,
to be
smoothie, whatever. Yeah.
I just have to be careful in that when I take the alarms public, that's why I asked the question. I need to make sure I know ahead of time what it's going to be shouting out to me because I don't want others to know my entire life, some of my life, but not my whole life. So I need to check
awesome. Like 4
Yeah.
p.m. Buy sexy lingerie for Friday. Oh God, that alarm went off. That was awkward.
I know, and especially if it would happen at my grocery store where I do know some of the people walking around there.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
don't have spoken words. I usually, when I hear that alarm, have a sense, oh, that's right. This is what I need to get in the car to get to the meeting, I think. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. Nice. I think my favorite alarm is decant for wine. If I know we're going to have red wine in the evening,
yeah.
I have a decant alarm with some really hip music.
That's
great.
It's
the happiest alarm in the entire world.
I bet it is. I'll tell you a funny story. The second time that I had an ayahuasca journey, On the backside of that, I lost my taste for alcohol.
Oh,
So
wow.
Laura and I used to like enjoy a glass of wine with dinner, whatever.
Hmm.
I maybe have 2 or 3 glasses of wine a year. Like if I come over to your house and you guys open a great bottle of Barolo and Laura, I'm not gonna be like, oh no, I on principle cannot
Hmm.
drink alcohol. You know, I will have a glass of wine with a friend
Hmm.
who's like, this is a great bottle. Let's open it together. But it was
Hmm.
really weird. After that, like, it just kind of like my taste for
Oh,
alcohol went away. It's weird.
huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's better carb wise because wine has carbs, so you don't have to worry about that now.
There's absolutely that, right?
Yeah. Well, I know that there is so much more that we could talk about,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah.
yeah, we have run the course of our little time frame for
Yeah.
the podcast. So
Super fun.
before we do run out of time, can you
Hmm?
please tell folks how they can get a hold of you?
Oh, goodness. Yes. Okay. So, number one, if there's anything that I've said where someone wants to know more and I wasn't explicit or they want some, who's Cal Newport? You mentioned him. My email address is very public. It is Stephen with a V at the Sukha, which means the happiness in Sanskrit, which is THESUKHA .co for the Sukha company. Drop me an email. Hey man, who's Cal Newport? Doesn't have to be about my company. Doesn't have to be about anything. Just would love to help. Right. I'll send you back a short email. And if someone out there wants to try a flow state or wants to try like that focused environment, come join us. It's free for 7 days, no credit card. Just go to the Sukha, THESUKHA.co, drop in, hit play, listen to music, do something for an hour. If you do it for 2 minutes, it'll just seem like a music app. You can't really get into a flow state in 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do it for an hour or two and you look up, you go, oh wow, I got everything done. That was really cool. That's why Tony and I do this. So people can
Mm-hmm.
have that feeling
Yeah.
of like in control of their life.
Oh, yeah. And it did feel good. I know when I first logged in, I wasn't expecting to start it right away. So when I saw what was happening, I thought, oh, I need to come back when I have more than 5 minutes because 5 minutes won't do this justice. So the next morning, I set aside my Sukha time.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, and it was just so nice. I felt so much better throughout the day because I knocked out the most important stuff in the morning.
I so appreciate you saying that. I can't tell you, Tony and I don't collect paychecks for creating Sukha. We just want people to have a tool when they go, I want to be in control of my life. I want to feel that relief. And what you just said speaks to our hearts. I hope Tony listens to this episode because that is such an amazing thing when you go, oh, I realize every other day of my life, I feel behind the 8 ball. I'm always
Mhm.
chasing a to-do list, trying to get stuff done, racing to dinner, and I didn't finish the thing and I'll have to work after dinner. And when you have that feeling of, God, it's like I did some good work. I'm
Mhm.
proud. I feel good. I feel in control of my life. Bottle that. It's an awesome feeling. I love thank you for saying that.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And thank you for being here today.
Yeah, it's great. Bye everyone. Hope you had fun.